And we are back with another thrilling edition of the Doin Alright podcast. Today is Friday. We answer questions and it's presented to you by our good friends at Ownwell. Bryan Broaddus, man, on this lovely Friday, we put out the bat signal. Everybody shows up and they inquire.
Yes, sir.
They inquire, Brian. Boy, we got a bunch of inquiries about trade stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you about a lot of trade stuff.
Getting close.
Bryan Broaddus, we're gonna break all that down. I typically don't watch film on the first date, Brian. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. When they say, "Boy, Voch, I heard such and such demanded a trade. What you think about him?" I don't worry about it.
Oh yeah.
Now when they here,
yeah,
I'll hyper focus on the player once they're here. So I'm not gonna look at all these different names, but I do have a couple that I want to run by you.
Can I say something real quick?
Hell yeah.
You always compliment me when you say, "I used to listen to you."
Yes, sir.
Did you hear me say that way back in the day?
That you used to listen to me?
No, that I don't watch players until they're here.
Nah, you said that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Go. Yeah,
because I think because it was always my line was, I'll study these guys, but I tell you what's happened.
Sure.
You kind of now, because we're in the business we're in.
I don't, Brian. I don't. So,
but that's what I'm saying. It was something like way back in the day.
That is
somebody. That was always my my mantra. Is like I'll watch them when they're here.
Yeah.
But now, because of the business that you and I are in, you almost have to watch just to have an idea,
Brian,
so we can talk about it.
I don't watch film on the first day, Brian. I don't. I don't. At the early.
I was being proud that, like, man, this guy that I work with.
I study you, Brian.
Yeah.
I study you. I've been watching you for 10 years. I started breaking down film when I saw you breaking down film on .com. I go way back.
You go way
Brian,
back,
bro. So yeah, all your adages, all your stuff.
Gotcha.
I may put a little swag on it.
Oh no, you got a lot of swag on them.
I may put a little sauce on it, Brian, but
gotcha.
But for the most part,
yeah.
Before we get into these questions, though, Broaddus, man, per Bryan Broaddus of the Doin Alright podcast, look real good on a tweet there, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Per Bryan Broaddus and his golden phone on the Doin Alright podcast. It looked great when I sent it out yesterday on Twitter. Do we have an additional Cooper Beebe update? Because
we do.
He's the biggest. I mean, the Mingo piece is fine. The Kalen Carson and all these other guys coming back, Savon Reveal, it's cool. I think the BB one is massive, and people kind of looking out for that. And I worded it like in a way of, if everything goes well throughout the week, it's a great possibility to see him on Sunday. Do we have an additional update on BB, Brian?
Yeah, a quality tweet from you yesterday on that for sure. BB had another excellent day. For your Dallas Cowboys in practicing. We started to talk about this on Wednesday, where it turned into, hey, we're going to try and practice him. We're going to open these windows, and now we're going to put something on his plate every day to see if he can handle it. The Wednesday practice went well, which got you to yesterday's Thursday practice, went well. So they're continually adding things on. Today being Friday, as we tape this, there's going to be another practice this afternoon, and we'll see how those things go. But everything is trending in the right direction right now for Cooper Beebe to be playing against the Denver Broncos on Sunday.
Brian, that'll be massive.
Yeah.
That'll be massive if you can get him back in there just to be powerful in that middle again. You're definitely going to need it when we roll up there in Denver, Brian. Let's just get started, man. We ain't doing nothing else up in here. Shouts out to our guy Nix, man. He does a good job on the social media and the Twitter, and he hosts everything over there. Everybody come into the spaces and kick it with him. He kicked it off about the Logan Wilson situation.
He did.
He asked us, "Would you send a 4 over there?" I don't know what his trade value is.
Right.
I don't know how much the Bengals value him or valued him as a player. I hyper focus on the Cowboys.
Right.
I'm all Cowboy now. Have you seen Logan Wilson?
I have.
What do you think about him, and what do you think compensation would look like for the caliber of player that you watch?
Yeah, I think that, and it's a really good question, because me personally, there's so many defensive positions that you could focus on, and maybe having a true Mike linebacker might be that guy. Here's a guy and we always talk about this in scouting, a square player. When you watch him, he's not too tall, not too short, but he's kind of a square-built guy. The one thing that he could do is he can run. And when you watch him, and I watched him the last couple of weeks here, watch him against the Packers, watch him against the Steelers. when the ball was to the outside, he was the guy that was running very similar to what you've seen with Shamar James and his ability to get outside. Now, very similar to what we've seen, though, from some of the Cowboy linebackers when it comes to taking on. There's been some times where we've seen these linebackers kind of guess, jump gaps, play blocks the wrong side, play with the wrong shoulder. There's a couple of those times, too, with Wilson that you see that. So that part of it looks somewhat similar to what you're playing with right now. But where the difference really, really is that speed, that burst, that ability to, when he has to play, very aware in coverage. He would be one of your better cover linebackers because you watch him when there were a couple of times when Aaron Rodgers was outside the pocket and now it turns to, just to splatter guys. I mean, splatter like stay with, stay on. And he was a guy head on the swivel, running with guys, making sure that he was in position to make a play. His guys were covered. Like to say, the run aspect of it, the run defense, not terrible, but to the point where you see him making some similar mistakes that we currently see with the Cowboys linebackers, and that's including with Murray and then with James as well. But the addition, you're probably looking at something like, I don't know if I would send a fourth for him. Maybe a fifth-round pick might be something more in line, maybe a little bit later pick than that. I think a 4 is a pretty premium pick. And I would think I would try first with something a little later. You're going to probably get some compensatories. Maybe you could get Cincinnati to bite on that. But what he also does for you, he plays on all the special teams. You see him on the punt return. You see him on the punt team. You see him on the kickoff return team. You see him on all these special teams things. So, as a starter for the Cowboys, he might not be doing those things. But, for what he was doing for Cincinnati, he was playing in games, but playing all those special teams. But once again, very similar to what you had or have currently with the Cowboys linebackers, but with better speed.
So if he gets here, he's a Mike linebacker. Kenny Murray sits down.
Right.
Everything else.
Right.
Virtually improves, you would say. Just everything.
I would say, when you start to talk about the communication, the coverage, and things like that, because you could see him as he's playing in the game, like he's moving everybody around and stuff. He's a very, very aware player.
Okay, Bryan Broaddus, we'll see. On that same note, we talking about linebackers, Bryan. Jacob Benoit says this, not Benoit because I'm cultured, and I know that's Benoit.
Yeah.
DeMarvion Overshown, man, and Voch. I'll word it like this: Demo had some locker room availability yesterday.
Yeah, sure did.
They got a chance to talk to him for about 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Man, I'm bigger, stronger, faster, more explosive. I jump higher." I said, all right, dog. After two knee injuries, catastrophic knee injuries.
Yeah.
He told all of his ACLs, CLs, PLs, DLs, FLs. Bryan, he said he got the numbers to back it up.
Okay.
Even if I believe you, let's just say he's a better version of himself than he's been these first 2 years.
Sure.
How massive is his return? If that's first of all, do you believe that that's the case? You could probably text Britt Brown and ask him.
Yeah.
Do you believe that that's the case? And 2, how massive is that if he comes back and he's better than ever?
Yeah, I think the aspect that you talk about his availability, when you look at him and the way he played before the knee injury, he was a dynamic player when it came to running down players, when it came to his ability to attack as a rusher, his ability to tackle, his ability to finish. His athlete, you could see his college makeup and where he had playing safety at Texas, playing linebacker. You could see him playing in those different roles. And then, the hope now is that he is, from my era, the $6 million man, Colonel Steve Austin, bigger, stronger, faster. You would hope that. Maybe the Bionic Man, with that. I know the one thing in talking to people in the organization about him, to a man, they have talked about how he has attacked this rehab. And he's matured, his body's matured. As he's gotten older too, it's kind of helped him to kind of understand what he has to do to be ready to play these games. So I wouldn't doubt the physical improvements with him. The thing that we're going to have to be very conscious of is, okay, the knee, and then how does he feel? Obviously, they're not going to put him out there if they don't feel 100% about him. But I would not doubt this guy improved with his strength, because there's times when, yeah, he can work on the knee, but he could also go in that weight room and work on his upper body. He can make his core strength. I mean, he looks good. You physically see him in a uniform. He looks like he worked hard while he was on this rehab. So my hope for him, Voch, is that he's in a situation where, listen, the football gods have taken a couple of years from him with injury. Just football gods, if I can ask anything, let him have a healthy remainder of career.
Yeah.
Let him be a guy that could go out there and show people how well he could really, really play, because he would be a huge addition for just the things that I talked about, that ability to play in coverage, the ability to blitz, the ability to be able to run down plays, to kind of, to use the Jeff Kavanaugh term, teleport himself over to make a tackle.
Yeah. What game week does the trade deadline fall on?
The Arizona. You would play Monday night against Arizona, and then that Tuesday, that next day would be the trade.
That kind of puts the Cowboys in an interesting situation, because Overshown doesn't come back to the Raiders game.
Right.
I would feel like they would want to see what he looks like before they go and make trades around him and stuff like that. But I don't know, maybe Jerry's going to roll the dice and just gamble on the idea that when he comes back, he's going to be good to go. And that prior to trade deadline, you just do what you have to do to build pieces around him, I would say, and just go from there. It's a very interesting situation, Brian. This Overshown character. Every other person I've seen that in torn all of their CLs, they normally come back looking weird. Yeah. But I've seen him come back and look fantastic. If he can do it again, maybe it's just him working hard, Brian. I don't know. We'll see.
He's the type of guy, though, that clearly has. He and Britt Brown have this. You mentioned Britt, have this relationship, and he asked Britt, coming off the field, he goes, "Where are we at?" He goes, "How long? When can I be back?" And Britt's like, "This one's going to take a while, but if we could work on this, I think I can have you back mid-season or a little after that." And that's where Overshown, I think, looked at Britt, and they determined right then and there that they were going to get this done that way.
You would say that the super hard-working guys don't really have an issue coming back healthy, because Dak is a guy that comes back, his hamstring will be tore off the leg, and now he's like rushing.
He's
now.
MVP,
running around,
MVP guy,
Demo came back out his end, he was fine. You would say that the guys that put a ton into it, and that we don't have any issues about their work ethic, that they tend to be fine.
Right, they do. I mean, that's the one thing. If you're a willing participant, the guys like the Britt Browns and people like that will make sure that you get back on the field at a quick pace.
How about this? Joe James probably.
Mm-hmm.
He says, Brian, assuming that Diggs is still in the protocol by Sunday, you keeping DaRon Bland in the slot, or you gonna make him follow around Sutton?
I think what I'm going to do is,
and just to add on to that, what's I'm just adding this to Joe's point. What's this week's cornerback configuration if that's the case?
Yeah, I think they'll probably go with what they did last week.
Wheezy in.
Yeah, I think so. I think they probably have a feel for that. You're going to see the way that the Commanders play a little bit is that they're going to play Ingram, the tight end, in the slot, and they're also going to put Mims out there. So what this team's going to try and do is spread you out.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a Sean Payton. There's times where Sean will condense when he wants. Sean is very much a play caller that he will send in personnel groups for specific plays. If he wants to run the ball a certain way, he's going to send in that personnel group. So Dallas will be able to have to adjust along with him. That's just the way that Sean calls his offense. But I think that they got a good feel last week on how that all went down, how they had some size, they were able to put Bland down in the box to handle some run stuff. It was a configuration that worked pretty well for them. I anticipate Diggs not playing this week. I think the later you get into the week, the more likely that he will not be available to you. So, with that being said, and you asked the question, look for them to go with a similar dynamic that they had last week.
If they run more zone, is this going to be a Wheezy Bland ready game? Or if they decide to go more man, then we'll see less Ready and more Elam, and they'll just
I think so too. Like the thing that looks like it's been a little bit of a problem is the zone coverage for for Elam has been a problem. It hadn't been the man coverage has not been a problem. So the adjustment might be made on him wherever, like, do you want to put him out there in these zone situations?
More man is Elam, more zone is
Exactly. I think I don't think there's anything wrong too. Like I say, this quarterback, the metrics will tell you this quarterback against zone coverage has more problems than he does against man. And maybe the situation, because he doesn't have as much problem against man, is because if you play man, he'll take off running the ball.
Ed Greg Jeff says, do you think that Diggs is going to be a part of some of these trade deals?
I think it's going to be very difficult to move Diggs. I really do. I just, now this is where we have a little bit of an advantage with myself and Voch doing these shows, is that we have these sources and people that we can talk to and ask. I think what happens, and this is just my experience of working in the National Football League, if we're talking about trading for a guy, it happens all the time. Coaches get on the phone and they talk to other coach friends about the player. Scouts get on the phone and talk to other scouts about the player. It's one of those things where it's really, really hard. If you want to trade for a player, you want to know every single thing about him. Now, this is the thing that you look at the Cowboys and how they got George Pickens. I'm sure they did their homework. I'm sure they did everything about George Pickens. They heard George Pickens is this. They heard George Pickens is that. But ultimately, what did they do? They made the trade. They said, you know what? We got a good enough locker room. We feel like our young coach can handle this. We've got some players. We think we can handle this. But that's the thing that's going to happen, and I think it's going to be very difficult on a couple of things. What are people going to say about Diggs? And because not every general manager has the security of Jerry Jones, so if you make a trade for Pickens and it doesn't work, you're still in the game. But if you're one of these general managers that makes a trade for Pickens and it doesn't work, now things are going out the door. Diggs is in a situation right now where I feel like that people are probably not going to say very many complimentary things. And I don't mean that any disrespect to him, but the questions are going to be asked. Well, does he really want to work? Does he really want to be there? Is he engaged? How healthy is he? Oh my gosh, what's his contract? These are the things I think make it very, very difficult. I think Diggs needs to be here, Voch. Sure. I think he does. I think he needs to get healthy.
He's more valuable to us than the 6 that you will possibly.
Exactly. So to me, I'm thinking, how do I get him out of the protocol and how do I get him going?
Yeah. Matt Owen asked an interesting question, Brian. But I'm terrible, man. I always try to make these questions my own. Matt was like, if the 3 were available, which would you choose, right? He said, would you Max Crosby for a 1 and a 4 and a player. Yeah. Jeffrey Simmons for Dallas is 1, or Quentin Williams for a 2 and a 6. And Matt, I think that's a fantastic question, sir.
Yeah. I think, I think, you have a thought on that one?
Well, it made me think about this, Brian.
Yeah.
Here's my overall thought of what I would change about this.
Yeah.
Where are we at with Osa?
Yeah.
Because when I see people talk about, hey, can we go and get another defensive tackle, I don't think it's to sit Kenny Clark.
No.
You know what I mean? Uh-huh. And it may not necessarily be to cut Osa, but Osa would be a rotational guy if Jeffrey Simmons and Quentin Williams showed up.
Right.
I don't think Dallas is going to make a move for a 3-tech because you got a bunch of those guys already.
Yeah.
Of course you would cut
Solomon Thomas. Yeah, but he's not playing bad.
He ain't playing bad football.
Yeah, if I'm watching your tape, your pro tape, and Solomon Thomas is on the street, I might try and go get him.
I don't know all the PFF stuff, but I would assume that Solomon Thomas has a better run grade than Osa does.
Yeah.
Let's keep it buck with you. So Matt's question made me ask this, Brian. Where you at with Osa Odigizua after making some money around here?
Yeah.
Osa done made some money around here. And just every time we look on social media with these trade packages, we talk about people trying to sit them down, Brian. What do you think Osa's done this year?
I think, to me, this is where and I'm not trying to defend the player here, but, man, you watch the Carolina game, and they hammered him. Yeah. They hammered him with those double teams. And that was, he was trying to fight those. I think with Osa, we're expecting this upfield, this attacking. We've yet to really see that from him. We have
lose his system and everything.
Yeah, you're thinking these 3 techniques. Why have I noticed Solomon Thomas attacking more than Osa Odigizua? And I even noticed that, like, in training camp. There was this attacking player, and I felt like, though, to me, that's I haven't seen that guy yet.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that, and I really try hard. But I will say this, though. Teams are attacking him in a way with some of these double team blocks. They are trying to get guys. It's not so much let's double the one, let's double the three and see what happens running the football. I mean, Carolina did that in that game and did it to perfection. Of the three players you may have mentioned, I'll take the rusher.
Yeah.
I'll take Max Crosby.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that Max Crosby can make a difference. I don't think it's all about sacks and pressure with Max Crosby, which is great for him. But the way he affects games,
He's tearing shit up.
he is tearing shit up.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right about that. And he's playing the run, he's getting off blocks, he's disruptive. He is an offensive coordinator's nightmare for all the things that he does. I think Simmons is a really, really good player. He could be disruptive. Quinnen Williams, I mean, Quinnen Williams stuff is really good. But give me that disruptive edge.
Yeah, I understand, Bryan Broaddus. We're going to take a quick break, and Bryan is going to tell us all about our good friends at Ownwell.
Thanks, Voch. All right, homeowners, huddle up. That property tax notice heading into your mailbox, it doesn't have to blitz your wallet. With Ownwell, you can get into play in about 3 minutes. No upfront cost, zero to start. They run the whole drive. Your paperwork, the appeal, even the hearing. Here's the deal. Most customers end up with a lower assessment and about $1,100 back. You don't have to pay anything until they save you money. No win, no fee. Once you're on their roster, they handle it every year. So savings keep stacking up season after season. So do us a favor and scan the QR code. It supports our show, and you'll get free saving estimate in minutes. Ownwell keeps the playbook simple. Less stress, more money back. That's a clean touchdown for your budget and a high five for us. Everybody wins. Tell them Bryan sent you.
And we're back. Appreciate you, Bryan. Thanks so much for tapping in and telling us all about our property tax and things like that.
Yep.
Sir. I'm definitely going to tap in and see if I can save some bread, because I'm trying to make some money with you so I can go,
Go get you a house. Yeah, right.
We are definitely going to cross that bridge when we get there, sir. Bryan, I got some more questions for you, man.
Sure.
It's a handful. Bryan, I'm just looking around, man. I'm just like, got a whole bunch of people coming back to this roster, man.
Yeah.
You always ask me, Voch, who do you think the 53rd guy is?
Sure.
With alleged 3 people coming back,
Yeah.
who's your 51st, 52nd, and 53rd guy? Let's just assume everybody stays healthy, because, look, we get lucky if somebody goes down and then somebody else steps back up. We get lucky. We ain't got to mess around with nothing then, right? But with the Mingo stuff, Overshown to be back before you know it, Bryan. We're talking about Revel being active. What do those bottom 3 guys look like? And also, I want you to think about the politics of this, because in real life, Mozzie Smith is probably your 53rd guy.
That's what I'm saying.
But he's safe.
Yeah.
What do you think?
See, I had Clowney as my 53rd guy because I knew they probably weren't going to do anything with Osa.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Clowney played at a very high level. So whoever you want me to talk about now to kind of get them, to. But I wonder where they're at with some of their, like with the offensive lineman guys.
Yeah.
I wonder. I don't think they want to move on from the rookie tackle from Oregon.
Yeah.
But I'm just kind of that's kind of where I'm looking. I mean, are you in a situation right now with, if you're playing Stewart less at the nickel, are you going to take him out of the mix? The linebacker situation. I want to believe that probably JT would be a guy that they would look at as one of the bottom 3. I would think that maybe they would want to look at. I'll say it, and I believe it because of just the way they're playing it. But
Perry Young gonna make you sick if they move on from him?
That's something they have to bring him back.
Yeah,
he's a bring back guy.
Do they just keep him on IR?
Yeah, I mean that's where I was talking to some people about this, and they were asking me, like, well, that might not be an upgrade. And I'm like,
It's a damn lie.
see, that's what I'm saying.
A damn lie.
That's what I'm saying.
That was your best defensive tackle.
I don't know how you could watch him at training camp and watch him.
There was a time where Perrion and Solomon Thomas were better than Olsen. There were times.
Exactly.
There were times.
Exactly. And I can't get it out of my when it sometimes you go, what? Mm-hmm. But me, the way I just blurt things out.
Yeah.
Okay. That really?
Yeah.
So that's
odd to me.
Odd, very odd. But you wonder what's going to happen with one of these. The probably one of your corners is probably in that mix.
Yeah.
Probably one of your offensive linemen are in that mix, and then probably one of your defensive tackles is in that mix.
Yeah. Just thinking of, you got 5 tackles right now. Well, 6 tackles. Yeah, you got the big 2 guys, Solomon and Mozzie, Toia, and Perrion if he ever comes back off injury. So you got 5 in the possible. Yeah.
Would you put, and you're my O-line whisper guy.
Yes, sir.
Adeniji in that mix? Because you want to maybe.
Adeniji played some damn good guard at the snap of a finger when you needed him.
I know.
I don't think you move on from him. This is what I think happens, Brian. I think it got to be one of those D tackles.
Yeah.
Or you could do it like this. Because maybe I'm just too creative. I should have been an NFL coach, Brian.
Yeah.
I've seen Solomon Thomas play some edge.
Yeah.
We've seen him do it.
So you're going to move on from one of these edges?
North Carolina.
Yeah.
San Francisco.
Yeah.
The damn New York Giants. Everywhere I've seen Solomon Thomas, I've seen him line up wide before.
Yeah.
And I know the Cowboys going heavy on the edge dudes.
Yeah.
Man, I don't think Sam Williams or Marshawn Kneeland have absolved themselves from being considered to be sat the hell down somewhere. Now, Marshawn is a recent second-round pick, so it's a lot of growth there with him.
Yeah.
Sam been here for a long damn time. He ain't got no more years on his contract.
Well, speaking of second-round picks, do you do something with Schoonmaker?
Schoon can go.
See, that's
fair.
That's something. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Can go. And you could just use Lipke as your extra tight end guy.
Right.
I had somebody, a bunch of people in the queue, like they were asking. I didn't pull it. But they was like, man, when are we gonna get more Brevin Span forward? Because when I see Brevin, Brevin's out here being violent. I mean, they just haven't gotten him going in the passing game, and that could be something that they're seeing in practice. But what I'm not seeing from Schoonmaker in the game is him affecting us in the passing game.
Right.
So if anything, they're even as pass catchers. So who's the better blocker? I would say by far
Span Ford.
Brevin Span forward, Bryan Broaddus. I mean, I know Cowboy politics play a role, and we just can't cut Mozzie and Luke at the same time. That's your first thing. Your second,
you know what?
Just gone.
You know what?
But the Eagles will do it.
Yeah,
the best teams will do it.
I would absolutely do it.
Let's move on.
I would absolutely do it.
This Mozzie thing has been a waste of time.
Yeah, I would absolutely.
And he's taking good reps from Toia, who hasn't had a bad game yet.
Right.
Jay Toia ain't had a bad game yet.
Right.
He ain't been incredible, but at least you can look at him as a guy that's going to be here and be a part of the equation in the future.
Yeah,
man,
I agree with you. The whole thing with the Mozzie thing, and then Scooney.
Yeah. Bryan Broaddus. How about this, Voch? Voch says this, bro.
Voch says this. Yeah.
Voch says this. Who needs to have a better game Sunday, Brian Schottenheimer or Dak Prescott?
Ooh,
damn right.
Yeah, I like this one. Give me the quarterback.
Quarterback needs to be better. I know, Bryan. Put the camera on his face.
Yeah,
I know Bryan Broaddus. I know, because if you think, go ahead, think about it. If you think about Dak, you need him to be able to process quickly and deal with that rush, because the pass rush coming, and Surtain's over there. I can't be scared of Surtain.
Yeah.
Oh, it's loud up here. I got to process information. I got a rookie being the hand signal guy. That got a lot to think about.
Yeah,
but if you Schotty, all right, I gotta balance everything. I also can't be afraid of Surtain. How do I get Pickens going? What guy do I scheme Riley Moss up against? Right? What happens if they do something to keep Riley Moss safe that I haven't seen before?
Yeah.
Man, how do I deal with these 3 dudes in the front? As a play caller, if the 3 dudes in the front tearing it up, it ain't a whole bunch you could do. But what do I do in case that they are?
Well,
what if the pass rush is ridiculous? I think they both got a ton on their shoulders.
Yeah, this is, man, you're not wrong, but you also have to think about Schotty the way as being the head coach, he affects the defense.
Yes, sir.
Because he affects, like, what if the defense is having a rough day? Or what if the defense is, like, he's got to figure out, like, I got to go for it now. Yeah. Or I've got to play this game. I think where Schotty could affect this game, too, is what you and I talked about in our breakdown during the week, was that where Schotty thinks about, oh, got to throw early, got to throw in first downs, got to make sure the pass rush doesn't get me. Oh, second, third downs. Oh, I got to be able to run the football. I got to be able to find some things. But, guy, he also affects the game's use of timeouts, how that is. Yeah. There's a lot of things going into it. But I will say this. Dallas has a huge advantage at quarterback. They got a huge advantage at quarterback.
Yeah.
And if their quarterback continues to play the way he has, dealing with the blitzes, dealing with free rushers, dealing with tight windows, all these things, his ability to get you in and out of stuff that you need. This is going to be a difficult situation from the last time he went to Denver to play a game.
Yeah.
This was 2017. I don't think he was ready to handle, just coming off his rookie year, fabulous rookie year, but I don't think he was ready for that game. I think he's ready for this one. He's a veteran guy. All the things that we've talked about leading up to it. If Dak Prescott continues to play at the high level he has, Dallas will win this football game.
I agree, Brian. I'm leaning more towards Dak.
Yeah.
Schotty got a ton on his
Schotty's got a ton on his plate, though.
Ton on his shoulders, too.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Will Steele about this last night. Shouts out to my guy, Will Steele, man. This seems like one of them games where Mike McCarthy will get folded up. And one of these physical defenses, like a physical run game on the other side. We in Denver, and the game plan got to be perfect and on point.
Everything gets sort of,
Mike McCarthy get ate up in a situation like this or whatever. So, Schotty got a lot on his plate. Brian, this is our question of the day.
Okay.
It's our question of the day. The last one I'm going to roll out to you. Matthew Levin. Shouts out to Matthew Levin. He also sent us a photograph, Bryan Broaddus. Matthew Levin is rocking the limited edition sky blue Gucci mink Doin Alright podcast hoodie that you can get from our store that's down in the description. Y'all click the link if y'all want to get some of this. But boy, this
it looks good on him.
It's a handsome hoodie, man.
It is a handsome hoodie.
It's a Gucci mink hoodie. He says new merch came in. You damn straight it did, Matthew. He says, would you still play Marshawn Kneeland a lot when it comes to when he comes back, or is he out of the rotation with Clowney stepping up, Donovan Ezraku stepping up, James Houston as an emerging character?
Yeah.
He said Fowler, but we could talk about Fowler in a little bit. But then he says, and I guess Sam Williams, who's been awful. That's a fantastic way to end that question there. Brian, I don't even think I saw Dante Fowler last week. I ain't even seen him. What'd he do last week?
Yeah, it's been rough.
What Dante Fowler do last week?
Been rough.
I don't know who I may have been. It was probably Christy Scales or something. I don't know what I'll be talking. But it was just had something along the lines of talk to Dante Fowler.
Yeah.
It was like, Dante Fowler, what you think happened in this Jets game where you just turned into a pass rush savant, into a demon? And he was saying something along the lines of, it just took me a couple weeks to settle down. I just had to get my feet under. I'm good to go now. Where my camera at? Put me on one, please. Boy, you a damn lie, boy. You ain't got to come out here and just because you had a good game, you think you finna come out here and make us think that, we just living in good pass rush land from here on out. Boy, Dante Fowler, my eyes are still on you. You ain't got a lot of me. But, Brian, I will say, all the rest of these characters are emerging.
Yeah.
Clowney is emerging.
He is.
Donovan Ezraku gets better.
Every single week.
And James Houston, I just need Flus to move him around a little bit. Not over one of the best offensive tackles in the whole damn league. And maybe we'll have a little bit of success there. But what do you do with the rest of these guys? What do you do with Marshawn Kneeland? Had a really good week one. Haven't seen much from him since. I ain't seen Sam have a good week yet. And Dante Fowler was really good versus the Jets, but he lied to Christy Scales. Brian, what do we do about those three guys, Fowler, Williams, and Kneeland?
Yeah, I think with Kneeland, though, man, I had a lot of hope for him coming out of training camp, and he did. He had the opening game where he was good, and you're thinking, okay, I need to see more Marshawn Kneeland. And then all of a sudden what happens, he gets hurt again, and then you don't see him anymore. But I still think that he has the ability that you want to try and keep with. I think that I'm not going to say, that's your future. Well, in a way, though, he's one of these guys that as he's shown things, you want to play him, but then all of a sudden he disappears. I think you could say same thing with Fowler. I mean, we were thinking that we were going to get Fowler from what we had in the Commanders last year, the Fowler that left to go to the Commanders. We felt like that Fowler was going to come in here and be this pass rusher. He was, as you mentioned, for 1 week. Sam Williams, I just have not seen it at all. I think that to me, that's the one that's bothering me the most. And I know folks will probably say, Broaddus, he's coming off injury and all that. But man, I had a lot of hope for him. Even coming off the injury. Let's see what we have in Sam Williams. But if I had to say how I would want to play them, I want to play them in the order I just mentioned. I would go ahead and stick with Kneeland, try Fowler, and then Sam Williams. I would start to limit some of Sam Williams' snaps.
We're the same. We are right there, Brian. I'm with you. Kneeland has time still.
Yeah.
He's a second-year player, so give him a little bit more time to develop.
Right.
Dorrance Armstrong, if you think about him, Brian, he was a fourth-round pick in Kansas, and it kind of took him a couple years to develop and grow a little bit. And, at Washington, he hurt now, but at Washington, he's like their lead guy over there.
Right.
So maybe, Marshawn's, and they're similar dudes, like big dudes, with an athletic profile, not really speedy rushers or whatever, but maybe it's just going to take a little bit more time. But if you look at how long Kneeland's been in the league per his contract, the rest of it, it makes sense for him.
Right.
Sam hadn't done a thing.
Right.
I think it's time to go ahead and cut ties with him. Fowler, it's unfortunate that you spent a little money on him. It's like a 2-year deal, I believe, for Fowler. A 2-year deal. Nothing crazy like $6 million per year or something. But I haven't seen nothing from him aside from that Jets game when he was beating up on the young tackle. So it is what it is in that way, Bryan Broaddus. Hey, man. I appreciate y'all for tapping in with us, man. We love y'all to pieces. We love to do this on Fridays. The Cowboys gonna go out there Sunday, beat the hell out the Denver Broncos. We're gonna come back and do this again on Monday. Be sure to follow us on all of our social medias. And if you have a curiosity or an inquiry about how you can find anything, whether it be a show or like an audio format or social medias or what I do on my YouTube channel, go to our website, crownglobalmedia.com. You'll find everything. It is nice and neat over there. And anything that you are looking for, you'll find it over there. Our merch is over there, or you could just go to the to this video down in the description and click on the link there, and you can find our merch. All right, that's Bryan Broaddus. I'm VOCHLOMBARDI. We'll catch y'all next time. All right, Crown.